Attorney Santiago Padilla, who is a member of the Florida and Georgia bars, spoke to us about his law practice. Thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So how would you describe your legal practice?
Well, I would describe myself as a business attorney that advises commercial clients in connection with their investments here in the U.S., in connection with their acquisitions, business acquisitions, and real estate acquisitions. I also advise clients regarding their operations, their mechanisms for selling their product or service, and employment matters. One of the things we also handle in connection with foreign national clients that establish their U.S. operations is that we have and I personally handle business immigration visas.
So who will be your typical client?
Well, the typical client, I would say perhaps 70 to 80% of the clients that I handle are foreign national companies that are seeking to establish U.S. operations. We do everything from establishing their U.S. subsidiaries and affiliates, organizing their corporate structure, say if they want a Delaware company or a Florida company for various reasons and for corporate strategy. As well as establishing the procedures, employment manuals and employment procedures, as well as general corporate procedures for the sale of their products and services.
What is your unique asset? What is your advantage as a lawyer?
I've been practicing law now for 25 years, going on 26 now. And a large part of that time I spent as a commercial litigation attorney. I started as an employment attorney, handling employment discrimination cases, representing U.S. companies. I've had the tremendous opportunity of also being involved in highly sophisticated commercial transactions, real estate acquisitions and business acquisitions. And I believe that it is unique and uncommon for a lawyer to have both perspectives. And that's what I think I can offer a client that is coming here to the U.S. or any client. I can give them a perspective of a litigation attorney as well of a sophisticated transactional attorney.
Give me one or two examples of what you would consider your most successful cases.
Well, I'm proud of a lot of cases that I've had recently, and the reason I'm most proud of some of these cases is because I can see that I've given value to the client. It comes to mind a transaction where a Spanish client came to acquire a multi-million-dollar hotel in Miami Beach, and although it was a lot of hard work, the transaction was successful for the client. And those type of transactions really make me proud because I can see that the client is happy and we achieved the result that they wanted. Let me give you another example. We have a client from Argentina, a restaurant conglomerate that recently established 5 restaurants here in the U.S. Obviously, they established one restaurant at a time, but now those restaurants they have revenues on the average of about $4 to $5 billion each per year. And we started with nothing, with just an idea, one acquisition, and then a second acquisition. And I organized the corporate strategy, the corporate organizational chart, and all the procedures for that company. I'm very proud of seeing that restaurant in operation now.
As an expert on real estate and business acquisitions, what would you say are the major issues?
Well, obviously there's a lot of issues in real estate transactions and in business acquisitions. When it comes to a real estate transaction, you have to obviously review the chain of title. You have to determine whether there's liens, encumbrances on the property. And the same thing with a business acquisition. There's a lot of parallels. But one of the things, the advice that I would give to the clients is to organize the transaction effectively from the beginning. It should be organized and planned so that you can get to the finish line. Mm-hmm. For example, I'll give you an example of one of the tools that we use in organizing these transactions, and that's the letter of intent. Now, it seems simple and a rather innocuous document, but it's a significant tool that brings the parties together. And it's not a document that should be considered lightly. It is a highly sophisticated legal document, but with a good letter of intent that establishes the foundations of the transaction and establishes the principal agreements of the parties, you can pretty much guarantee the success of the transaction. So I highly advise to commence with a letter of intent that will establish the parameters of the transaction.
And what would be the most valuable piece of advice that you can give all your clients?
The most valuable piece of advice that I'd like to give clients is actually very simple. It's in a way self-serving, but what I tell clients is to keep us involved. Us as lawyers, keep us involved in your transaction, keep us involved in your business. Because some clients seem to think that there's commercial issues and there's legal issues. But actually the issues are one, and that have legal and commercial components intertwined. And one of the things that I think we can provide value to the client is when we see a legal issue in the operations of the company, we'll be able to bring it to the client's attention through either implementing forms and procedures to help them sell their product or sell their service.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much for
Thank you very much.
your information.
Pleasure.